Hey, what's going on, YT? It is your girl, Leah Ray, and you're tuned into The Leah Ray Show. So, I probably should take my keys off so that I'm not jangling. Isn't that jingle? Yeah, that's a show. I mean, a movie. I gotta watch it. I heard it's really good. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and do 10 things that you don't know about me. One thing that you may have not known about me is that I was once in school when there was a race riot. So I was born in California. There were black gangs and there were white gangs back there. I remember going to school and us not being allowed to wear certain colors to school because the gangs are like real in California. We were out during like, I'm gonna say recess because it was middle school, so I don't know if they really called it recess, but we would go to lunch and then they would give us time out on the blacktop to play, and the blacktop was huge. Our area, it was like a whole soccer field. It was several basketball courts. They would let us have the balls and everything like that. It had been brewing, kinda, that there was gonna be a fight, but out on the soccer field, all you see is the Mexicans on one side and the blacks on one side, and then all of a sudden they just charged each other and just started fighting. So the people who were not, the kids who were not involved in the race riot, which I felt like we were the minority, we took off running to take shelter. So we ran into the locker room and we hid in the locker room. I don't know, I felt like we were trained for this or something, because you know, when you live in different places, you get trained for different stuff. Like we had earthquake drills. I don't know, I feel like I knew what to do, and if anything ever broke out like this, I was supposed to run and hide, because there was no way to get out of school. There was one way in and one way out, and our school had these big iron gates around them so that nobody could get in and out. So you had to hide because you could not get out to school. So we went and hid, and then we had mad security guards on that campus. They just came running out of nowhere trying to break up the fight. But I saw all this in the process of going to run and hide. So after I hid, that's all I remember. So that's one thing. The second thing that you may not know about me is that I was homeless for a short amount of time when I first moved to Alabama. I had a plan kind of when I was going to came down here, had a plan of what I was gonna do. I had a job. I was working at the Home Depot, was able to transfer my job, working on getting certified to teach in the state of Alabama. I found myself not having anywhere to live. I was really stressed about it. Like, I called my mom and I was telling her the situation that was going on. She asked me, she said, "Do I need to come down there and get you?" And then I was like, no. This is before it all kind of jumped off. I didn't have my own place to go to. I did not. So I remember this is how I met my friend. She was working with me at the Home Depot. Mind you, I had only known her like a month or something. She was like, "Look, if you need somewhere to go, you could come stay with me." She said, "I don't have a room for you, but there is a space in my living room and I have a mat you could sleep on." I said, "Bet." I went and I stayed on her floor in her living room for like a few months. A couple months. It was probably like 2 or 3 months, until I was able to get a teaching job, at which point I scored a long-term sub position. And then it was like, I don't know if it's the same, but it was like after 10 consecutive days, on the 11th day, you got teacher pay. So my pay was like around $65 or $75 a day. And then on that 11th day, it jumped to $193 per day. So I was able, as a long-term sub, to then find an apartment and move out. And she knows this, I am forever grateful. Number 3, you might not know about me, which is ironic. I hate school. Yes, I am a teacher. Do I see the value in education? 100%. Everybody needs an education. That doesn't mean everybody needs to go to college. Everybody just needs to learn how to do something, a trade or something like that. But I myself, I do not like going to school. I did not like school when I was I used to like it when I was like in elementary school, but by the time I got to high school, I did not like high school. I hated college, and I hate going back to when I went back to get my graduate degree. Now, mind you, when I got my master's, I got straight A's, okay? Because I do the work, but I don't like going to school. If me going back to get my master's did not come with a significant pay raise, I would have never went back and got it. Number 4, I started working at the age of 14. Now, I probably mentioned that before, but as soon as I turned 14, that summer, my mom hooked me up. She was working for this place called Colorama, and they made, I think, like shower curtains and maybe curtains and rugs and stuff like that. She was able to get me an office job where I was just like filing papers and stuff like that. So, you know, being 14 years old and your first job being an office job, I had standards, boo. I could not do certain things after that. Number 5, I contemplated playing college basketball. So my mom wanted me to play basketball because I had played basketball in high school, and I was pretty good. Listen, I didn't really like basketball like that. Like, I did it, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, when we lost, I'm about to cry and all this kind of stuff. I did not really have the love of the game like that, but it was fun. And I liked it. So she wanted me to play basketball. So she had set up, because she works in the athletic department, for me to go do a practice, a little 3-on-3 scrimmage with some of the girls from the basketball team that were actually on the basketball team, so that the coach could check me out. That was a lot of pressure on me. I did it. We did a 3-on-3 scrimmage. One thing I noticed about myself was that I was out of shape, okay? I mean, I was able to run around and stuff like that, but those girls were in tip-top shape, and they moved fast. And like I said, I was young. I was able to keep up, but I was not keep up like 100%. I was winded, but I knew that if I wanted to continue, eventually I would get in that kind of shape. I noticed that it was something that I never wanted to do. Number 6. Okay, one time a crackhead jumped on my car. I was in Passaic, New Jersey, okay? And I was on my mom's, it might have been mine at that time, I don't know, but I was on my mom's 96 Plymouth Breeze, and I was driving downtown, and it was a fiend in the street. Fiends be out of their mind. So it was a fiend in the street, and I was trying to get around, and that fiend literally jumped on the hood of my car and would not get off my car. So I was like, dang, how am I gonna get this crackhead off my car? So I put the car in reverse and kind of revved back, and the crackhead fell off my car, and then I was able to go around. You might think that's mean, but what was I supposed to do? I'm not about to get out and touch a crackhead. Number 7, I had a gun pulled on me. When I first came to Alabama, I was hanging out with my old friends. I think the guy that I was dating at the time, yeah, it was with the guy that I was dating at the time, and I think some of his people, we had all went out to the club. It was like a few towns over, and I remember going there and having to go like on this side road and stuff like that, because you know how these clubs in the South be, they be in the backwoods sometimes. So we get to the club was jumping, okay, it was mad cars in the parking lot. But one thing I noticed is that it was like the black club on the right side, and then the white club on the left side, like country folks, like cowboy boots and stuff going over there, and then you had the straight people, you know, going over here. So they were both sitting out there, which was kind of weird. And then it was like this big old parking lot. Obviously, if it was on the left side, it was for them, that parking lot. But anyway, point is, the club that got jumping, the club that got packed, it was like 1 million people at the black club. So the cars were spilling over into the other parking lot. But it wasn't like it was like, you can't park over here. It was just like an area, basically. We came out after the club, and we were all like over there because we were trying to like get in our cars and stuff like that. And this dude, this white dude, I'm just saying what it was. He came out. I'll never forget this. He had one leg, y'all. Yeah, because it was like amputated or whatever. So he probably was on the crutch, because I remember him holding that gun in his hand in his right side. And I think it was his right leg. And he had the gun on his right side. But anyway, so he was telling us to get off that property. Don't be parking over there and all that kind of stuff. And the guy was like, we was just coming to get our car. And he was like cussing us out. And then that's when he pulled out the gun. So we was like, oh, it's that kind of party. Like, we ain't crazy. We was just like, all right, bye. Come to find out, yo, somebody told me that was the sheriff in the town that I was living, because I was talking to another cop, because like, we didn't call the cops or nothing like that. I was hanging out with this girl, and she had a roommate, and one time I went by her house, like not after that, and I was telling her story. I was like, girl, you know, this guy with one leg pulled a gun on us. Then her roommate came and was like, one leg, like what he looked like. So she said, you know, that's a sheriff, right? Like, he can get in a lot of trouble for that. Like, she was a cop, and she wanted me to follow up with her. I was like, nah, straight. He was just trying to flex, whatever. Oh, but that was like the second time. The first time I had a gun pulled on me was in college, but that's neither here nor there. All right, number 8. One of my students got arrested in front of me. I think the first time I ever seen a kid get arrested, if I'm not mistaken. So we were all sitting in the lunchroom, and I had seen the 2 SROs, student resource officers, which are cops, like walk out the lunchroom, and they were talking, right? So then they walked out, because there was a side door over there, and then they turned around, and then they came back, and one got on the left side and one got on the right side, and they called his name, and then the kid stood up real fast, and then the cop was like, don't do it, don't do it. And then the kid just chilled out, and he just put his hands behind his back, and they took him out. Number 9, something you may not have known about me, is I've never been punched, like ever, like not in a phase, not from first of all, I haven't even had like a fight. Like, I remember in middle school, I had like a little fight. I hit the girl like 2 times, but she never like landed a punch. And I'm trying to think if I ever fought again. I feel like I did. Oh yeah, I did fight my best friend. Well, I didn't really fight my best friend in high school. Like I jumped on him and started punching him, and he never hit me back because he threw some chocolate milk. No, because I threw chocolate milk on him. It's a long story. I've never been hit. I've never been like in a real fight where we're like going at it. I've never been hit in my face, never been slapped in my face, never been punched. That's why I can't never get in a fight, y'all, because to me, when I think about people hitting other people, like, listen, I'm defending my life at that point because that's psychotic to fight. Like, you're so mad you're gonna cause bodily harm. Like, I'm probably gonna think you're trying to kill me. So I got to stay alive, y'all. So never been hit, yo, and I don't want to be hit. And number 10, the last thing that you may have not known about me, I was proposed to 3 times. The first proposal was a fluke because, let me tell you how I had caught the guy I was dating cheating. This is back in MySpace, okay? So I was younger. Like, MySpace was still in the air. It was like phasing out, right? So we weren't even dating that long. But anyway, I caught him cheating, right? When I caught him cheating, I confronted. He admitted to it, but then I was done. So he gonna try to propose to me thinking that's gonna keep me to stay. That's gonna make me stay. I was like, no. I told him no out the gate. And he had bought me like some gifts and stuff like that on top of the ring. Then the second proposal, I actually accepted the second proposal. I wound up having to call the wedding off because after we got engaged, like it had just like popped off. And listen, I lost my fiance at the time. Not lost, like died. Like I called that wedding off. I lost a best friend over this whole situation. Like it was crazy. And then my third proposal was with Adrian. And I said yes. And the rest is history. So anyway, y'all, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this 10 things you may not have known about me. And until next time, people, peace.